Based on the ignorant statement Keyra said at the end of
This episode.
this episode, perhaps she's not culturally curious about where she comes from.
Or she may suffer from a severe and undercover case of self-hatred. Welcome to Cliff Alerts. Today we're going to be talking about OWN Network's reality-based TV series, Ready to Love, season number 8, episode number 5.
But before we get into it, please like, share, and subscribe. Please click that like button, it helps us in the algorithm. Please send us your comments, and we thank you.
Yeah, this episode began as a continuation from last episode to eliminate Red and Marvin.
And Red went home.
And he wasn't too happy about that. As a matter of fact, he was a little salty. He did try to suggest that the reason why he was eliminated was because the women weren't ready to love him.
Well, no, he still have some tweaking to do. He gotta present more of who he is rather than what he does and who he knows.
Yeah.
We wish him the best,
Yeah.
basically.
Tommy instructs the guys who have the power this week to eliminate to take the ladies out on dates and to talk about what their non-negotiables are.
First up, Herbert, Quentin, Janelle, and Katerina met up at a pickleball spot. It was a double date situation. The guys arrived and were chatting it up, and then once Janelle came through, it got competitive because both Herbert and Quentin are feeling Janelle.
At the same time, in the same place, at the same location.
And Janelle was a little salty at Herbert because evidently she sent him a couple of messages and texts that he did not respond to, and she made her position known.
Translation, you better tighten up, bruh.
And she made it clear, like a sister who makes it plain.
Yeah, keep on.
Herbert said that he gotta tighten his game, as you said,
And he got the message.
because Quentin is just there waiting on him to mess up, basically.
Oh yeah, he's shooting his shot at the same time.
Absolutely. And it's good to see these two men competing for Janelle because
And Quentin is very clear about what this is.
ex-
He was very clear that this is a competition and may the best man win.
because in the past you don't see the curvy girls getting any play at all.
Okay.
So it's good to see Janelle getting
Some attention, huh?
yeah,
From both sides at the same time.
exactly.
Everyone kind of revealed their non-negotiable.
Janelle said that hers was the man gotta be ambitious.
Herbert said that he has to have kids. He does not want to connect with any partner or any wife that does not want to have kids.
Quentin said he wants someone who is disciplined and focused. He doesn't want to try to be motivating people. They should come in like that. And I don't think Kat had any negotiables for this group. She did have one when she spoke with
Later on.
Phil later on.
I had a little bit of a competitive game there, pickleball, and Quentin and Janelle actually won, right?
Yeah, then won, and Clinton picked her up after they won, which was good to see. So we finally see the brother doing the thing that she wanted most.
Yeah, and
So
it didn't
good for
take
her.
and it didn't take long either.
Amen.
Mm,
And it
mm.
didn't take a village either.
Yeah, how about that? I didn't think about it from that angle.
Aries met with Chris at his house,
One on one.
and Chris had some prepared. He had a chef,
You do?
and the chef prepared the African food that he
Hooked
loved.
up. Hooked it up.
Aries was surprised because,
Pleasantly so. She was loving every
yeah,
minute
she
of
said
it.
the
She
food
soaked it
was
up.
delicious,
Right.
and she was a happy girl.
So then when the date turned to, the discussion about non-negotiables, it was interesting in these two, with these two, because they both basically had the same non-negotiable, and it was based on their, I guess, past relationships and the result of kids obviously being a product of those past relationships, and how both of them realized that they don't want any co-parenting dramas to
Right.
come down the road based on their efforts to try to find the right one for them.
I think their non-negotiables is respect and boundaries. Father passed when he was a baby, and his mom recently passed,
Right.
and he still has that pain of grief. So he said when he saw how Mary's treated her boys, it touched his heart because it reminded him of his mom. That's how she treated them, that's how she loved them. And he started crying because I guess he missed his mother. And she too
Has
was
had
touched by his sentiment because she recently lost her father as well.
Right.
So that was a powerful moment and connection they had between them.
Yeah, and you could tell by Chris's comments in his confessional that he was um, really pleased that he was able to be vulnerable with Aries and that she understood. See, Marvin, who sets up a one-on-one date with Unique,
Hmm.
and as part of his date, he plans to take Unique horseback riding and then a picnic right behind that. That's smooth move stuff right there.
And Unique loved that they went horseback riding because she loves horses and she loves riding.
Hmm.
And Marvin said that he's always wanted to go horseback riding
Hmm.
since he got to Dallas, but
Hmm.
was unable to do so.
Mm.
When Unique saw the picnic that he laid out for her, she was touched that he would do all this for her, and she basically told him so.
Hmm.
And because she was vulnerable in that moment, she gave him a kiss.
Yeah, and she did mention in her confessional that she felt like he, i.e., Marvin, was one of her top connections.
Yes. However, Marvin is not feeling unique in that kind of way.
And you know
He
what?
gets the impression that she may be a broken flower, and he is not willing to sign up for helping her through the hurt and pain of her past.
And also, too, as it relates to the non-negotiables that he expressed, he wants kids. He wants at least one of those kids who's got to be a boy. But I don't think that she's necessarily on board with that.
No, she does not want children. He's looking for two, and he made his decision that she was not the one. So
Mm.
he moved on even before the date had ended.
And next, we see there was a group date that was set up by Marie. And Marie invited Jessica, Kira, and Sierra on the
Yes,
ladies' side, and he was rolling with Herbert and Chris on the men's side.
right? And he had an instructor. Jessica and Chris went first,
Yeah.
and they talked about a hypothetical accident that they may have gotten into, and the conversation based on what happened in that accident.
Yeah, after
And
they left the scene.
if you shoulda woulda, and she talked about him not paying attention to her directions and all this other stuff,
Mhm.
and Chris really shut her down when he said, "Well, I have a business and you are my business, so I'm going to take care of my business. That means I'm going to take care of you until you get it together." When she started complaining about how her car is damaged and she's been injured and what she's going to do.
Herbert and Sierra went next, and I believe that their scenario
Children
was it children
at the
at the
hospital,
hospital.
and they were talking about babies
Right.
and making babies and what it would feel like
Hmm.
having babies. And it was very funny because Sierra is turned up and
Hmm.
Herbert tends to go wherever somebody is gonna leave.
Right.
She was at the end of it. She said, "Hey, let's go make those babies."
It
And
started now.
everybody
Exit stage
was
left
was
even.
laughing
Yes,
how they
indeed.
ended that
Yes, indeed. That
situation.
was funny.
Yes, it was.
That was funny. And then Marie got a chance to kind of play act with Kira
Kira seemed awkward
and
and
uncomfortable with it.
uncomfortable because she doesn't operate with an open mind and heart. It was supposed to be a light-hearted, fun situation, and she couldn't
She
come
clearly
up with
struggled.
it was dry.
Next up was Philip, who set up a one-on-one date with Katerina.
Yes, Philip was eyeballing Katerina since she came through the
Hmm.
process and wanted
An opportunity.
opportunity to meet with her. And
Absolutely.
she was wearing a beautiful dress. He was happy to look up at the goods, the bits and pieces.
Yes.
And they started talking about religion, and he said that he's not religious, he is more spiritual. And she said the same, and she was glad that they had that sort of connection in with their spirituality.
Hmm.
And they talked about the possibility of
Kids.
kids.
Yes.
Philip clearly wants more children.
Yeah, and I think Kat said that she wants kids, but she hopefully prefers that if someone has them, that they're older coming
Hmm.
into the relationship.
Right.
And she also said that she doesn't want any, what was it, co-parenting drama.
She too doesn't want co-parenting drama. She doesn't seem like she's actively gonna sign up for
If it
children.
happens, yes, but if it doesn't, she's good.
If Philip has this thing that he has to get a family now, and I know Herbert wants a family now, Katarina is not gonna
Not
be
gonna
there,
be
girl.
one. Right.
No.
Right. Quentin setting up a boxing workout date with Unique and Kira.
And they were working out because he said he invited both of them because both of them told him they don't work out. So he
Right.
wanted to see how far they would go
Hmm.
into that
And how they
session.
would handle something that was not something ordinarily that they would be involved in.
Right. Kara excused herself and went to the bathroom, and Quentin and Unique had a conversation.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, and during that conversation, it just became apparent to Quentin that Unique was still healing from some past hurts from her last relationship, her marital relationship,
Hmm.
and that she was intent on, mastering that and moving beyond that, but it still would be something that she would have to, really pay more attention to and more focus on how to work her way through that.
Well, he talked about coming out or through healing himself,
Mhm,
and he wants someone who has been healed
mhm.
because he
Not somebody
wants
who's in a
someone who is
process.
in the process of walking through that. He said he doesn't have the skill set to deal with someone like that, so it's going to be a hard pass for him.
Yeah, yeah,
Once Kira returned, Unique said she was out, she was leaving.
yeah.
She
She's
said in her confessional that she learned a lot more about herself
mm,
than Quentin, and she was grateful for
yes,
it.
absolutely.
And Kira sat down, and this is where the ignorance started for me. He looks like he has dated white women. She is immediately thinking that because she thinks in that small
Projecting her
brain of
values,
hers
right?
that he dated white woman, there was a problem. And I'm saying that if he did, if
That's
he
his
didn't,
choice.
that's his choice, that's his business. But right now, she is in front of him, so she should be concentrating on what they're doing right here, right now. She talks about him dating white women, and it's
Just
important
based on his looks,
to for her to understand whether he has or he has not
right? And in an effort to presumably so she
to
can make a
please him.
decision, yeah, and make her decision making
Yeah, yeah,
easier.
yeah.
Well, from my end, like I said in the intro, okay, this was asinine conversation that originated from her patootie, shall we say? Okay,
Yeah, it came out of her ass.
yeah, yeah,
That definitely did. We do
right,
have to cover that up.
right. And here's the thing: to follow that stupid line of thinking, if he had come back with her, come back with a response to her that said, "Well, you sound like you date white men."
Yeah, she
That
said
might
was
that
she
might that might have gotten through to her in the way of a message about how stupid what she said was.
she doesn't understand that the way she speaks tells anyone listening that she has assimilated to a different ethnicity rather than speaking as who she is. She has turned on herself
There seems to be a whole lot from my vantage point that she didn't understand, but it's probably way too long to get into in terms of a discussion.
And when Quentin said he'd never dated a white woman in his life, he has dated Hispanic women, and she held on to that like, oh, it's Hispanic woman. Why is she not comfortable in her beautiful blackness? But it seems like her only reason that she met with him is to just verify that he hasn't dated a white woman, and it made her look foolish.
Stupid.
Is that
S
it's ST?
Stooped.
Stupid.
In his confessional comments afterwards, he was like, "This was a complete turn
It's a
off.
non-starter.
I don't want to deal with this person anymore because she's all kinds of stupid acting
What is
and
was
stupid speaking."
what was ignorant too is when she said, "I could ask you this question because I have white friends." What does that remind you of? People who say some stupid shit and then they say, "I have black friends."
Yeah, they make a racist statement.
Question was so stupid she had to put a disclaimer. It tells me too she doesn't have any good girlfriends or friends because once that nonsense came out of her mouth, someone who loves her would have checked her.
I gotta give kudos to Quentin for maintaining his composure, right, under this barrage of stupidity that originated from this young lady.
Trust and believe whoever is the editor of this episode, they certainly didn't give her any do her
It
any
favors
any favors. She's gonna be educated about the culture, quick, fast, and in a
the
hurry.
one that she's a part of, but doesn't necessarily identify with.
No, she's not a part of it.
Oh, she's a part because she wears the brown skin.
She clearly does not have a mirror at the house, and that is
Mm.
my sermon for the day.
The guys can reconvene at the men's lounge and kind of report to Tommy on, what happened this week when they met with the ladies to talk about their non-negotiables. Marie was feeling Jessica. Chris was feeling Airy. Now this was the interesting one for me, and I don't know how much he really knows about her, but Christopher, the new guy,
Hmm.
was feeling Keyra.
Christopher feeling Kara.
Right, right. Yep. Marvin was feeling unique, but also likes Cat as well. Okay.
Uh huh.
Philip was feeling Cat as well, Katarina.
Hmm.
Herbert has got uh, two on his radar. Herbert was feeling Janelle first,
Yeah.
but also Lee as
Yeah, and somebody
as
else
an
was
also sign.
filling Janelle and Lee.
That would be Quentin.
Yes,
That would be Quentin.
yes.
Yeah.
Amongst them who they're not feeling.
Oh.
It didn't go well for Unique
Were directed at Unique
and
and
Kira.
Kira. Okay.
Met with Marvin
Mhm.
and Maria met with Kira.
Yep. Hmm.
And Maria was telling her that, some of the men think that, you know,
Your name came up
your name came up,
during the
and
discussions, right?
some of the men may have an issue or two or three or 10.
With how you come off.
And just to manage and understand that you're in a different setting, so you gotta come across as if or have some sort of awareness of the ish that's coming out of your mouth, and probably kind of try to shut that down and let the good stuff flow.
She may need to speak less, okay, and listen more.
Marvin and Unique
Hmm.
talking, and Unique probably felt what was coming. Marvin told her that the group believed that she is not ready to love. She said okay. She didn't budge in a confessional. She said she actually is ready to love, but she didn't make any grand gesture or puffed herself up. She said it's gonna happen when it happens, and she's fine with it.
But she's got to do what you had referenced earlier, and I think what some of the show cast members on the guy's side referenced as well. She's got to heal herself first.
Yes, the director showed us what Kira had to say, which was that African culture is disrespectful. Personally, think that Kira does not know the history of black folk.
She know the meaning
She
of culture.
doesn't know the history of the Africans that came from Africa to the Americas.
Mhm.
She doesn't know the cause of the Civil War. She doesn't know what civil rights mean and slavery and all it entails. All she knows is what's here and now. Because culture entails music, it entails art, entails architecture, it entails a whole number of things. And in one sweeping statement, she said, Black culture is disrespectful.
To who?
How
To who?
how in the world could she sit on the ancestors and stand up there flat-footed and say some trash like that? How has she covered? Does she know all the ways and the means and
Of other
the of
cultures, right?
cultures and the history?
Where she
Does
can make
she
an assessment,
then she can make an assessment like that?
yeah,
Has she
and
been
has she
to
done the
the
comparisons between so many of these other cultures that she didn't reference in her remarks?
get some books to educate yourself?
Well, here's the thing. Again, to me, that self-education would start with what I suggested: speaking less and listening more, and read more,
Yeah,
and read more.
yeah.
Right.
You are disrespectful to the ancestors. And I don't know about you, but I wouldn't want to be a disgrace moving through the
This
life that
lifetime,
God has given you. And you said you're spiritual? Hmm.
she's spiritually disconnected right now.
Ay, ay, ay. And we're going to leave it right there. Thank you for liking, sharing, and subscribing. Send us your comments. Hit that like button. We appreciate you and we thank you for your time because we know that's important. And whoever you date, white, black, red, brown, or indifferent,
Business
is
here.
nobody's business than
That's
your own. You don't need get permission,
justified to somebody else for somebody else's approval.
right,
Right,
for them to feel comfortable.
right,
Mm-mm.
right.
That ain't no
Not
way
about
to
them.
live. It is no way to live. So there it is. Black all day, black forever.
Struggle is real.